So our masterclass is on how to improve sedentary environments and bring some more movement to them. So if we think about what our society is like right now, we do a lot of sitting. And sitting still and being quiet is associated with paying attention. We know that our bodies need movement, and we're finding that we need to sit more and more in order to do the work in our communities, in our offices, in our families, in our daily lives, being still. And if that's the case, if we have to sit, can we add some more movement and more intentional activity to our day, to our life? And that's what we're going to be working on in the masterclass, providing a framework for what to consider when you're planning how to bring more activity into these spaces that are traditionally sedentary, and also ideas or agenda items that you can consider adding in order to make your meetings and the time you spend with other people naturally more active. As a group, we worked through the framework that I was presenting for them. So we had a warm-up, and our warm-up was getting to know one another, being okay with getting out of our chairs at a conference where we're supposed to sit and listen and be still. So people got up, people sat on the floor, people stretched. We put a number of implements on the table. We had regular elastic bands that you'd find in any office. We had binder clips, and people were encouraged to use those. So if you wanted to sit still, but you wanted to work on finger strength, you could pick up the paper clip and play with it, or the binder clip and play with it. If you wanted to use the elastic band, you could work on your shoulder mobility while you were sitting. Or you could get down onto the floor and do a stretch, or you could stand up, stretch your legs. So we practiced this as a group because we were breaking a mental map. You could see even in a group that wanted to move more, it was hard to stand up when somebody was talking to you in a room, in a conference where you're used to sitting. So we had to constantly stop and remind ourselves, it's okay to get up, it's okay to move. We also had some very intentional movement breaks where we put on music and we danced together, or we did some activities together. The group then was tasked with finding a community that they wanted to make a meeting for that was more active than usual. We had 5 or 6 groups presented their ideas on how they would make their communities move more in a traditionally sedentary environment. So we had people talking about how they would do more movement with a grant funder meeting, how they would display food on the tables for food security, and then give people a card with a description of who they were pretending to be in that moment. So maybe it's a single mom with 3 kids who has a certain amount of money to spend on groceries. They would then take their pretend money and go around and go grocery shopping at the tables. So they were more active, but they were also embodying the potential impact that they had as a funder on that community, working together and brainstorming what they would like to see in terms of activities in their communities. We also had groups talking about how to re-envision conferences. We plan conferences around our meal times, but we don't plan conferences around our moving times. So that was a huge takeaway from the group, is how can we start to plan conferences so we have movement and meals and learning, because we know we need all of it to learn really well and to really soak in that time with other people. Some other groups took the elastic bands that were on the table and took us through an entire workout that was 5 minutes long. That's it, but we were all sweating and enjoying ourselves. So we had this range of creativity that they came up with together. We walked away with way more suggestions and integrations and innovative ideas than if I had just stood up there and talked about how to make our meetings more active and had them sit and be still. We were using the idea of them being a seed. So they are being incubated in this group to grow, to find ideas, and then to go out into their community and to use the same process that we did in our masterclass in their community. We founded our practices of the masterclass in human-centered design, meaning we asked the people that it's for what they want. Nothing for us without us. We used that process of human-centered design. So what would that community need? What would that community want? What would that meeting space want? How can we still help them achieve their goal while adding physical activity into it? So we had a bit of a framework that was guiding the practice. And my hope is that each one of these people who are in the groups can take that process back to their community and try it with them and try to change even one activity, meeting, sedentary environment into a more active environment. We need to actually meet people where they're at. And it's one thing to say, I'm gonna meet people where they're at, but if we are to go into a meeting of corporate clients and pretend that they're all wearing stretchy pants, even though we know they're wearing really tight, well-formed fitting suits, how you ask them to be mobile is going to be different than a community league place where people have come together to do Tai Chi. So we really have to match our intervention, our motivation for that person, for that group, which is where the human-centered design comes in. So it may be going out to the community and asking them, hey, if you were sitting in a suit in a meeting and someone wanted to incorporate a bit more movement, what would that look like for you? And that person might just say, you know what, the ability to stand up during this meeting and not be expected to sit is all I really want. Maybe a standing table in the back of the room, maybe a walking meeting notepad. I just really wish we had some of those wobbly chairs or those stability balls. So it doesn't have to be making a meeting a fitness class. It just needs to make the meeting more active than it was before. If you're planning a meeting, planning a conference, ask that simple question. Hey, this conference is coming up. If you were to attend and we were going to add some more physical activity, what would you want that to look like? And if you ask enough people, you're going to get so many ideas. And the ones that are really popular will rise to the top. The ones that are doable will rise to the top. We need to start getting a bit more curious about what people want so that they feel comfortable to move more.